So American Animals is directed by Bart, Layton, and stars a huge star-studded cast of brilliant young actors such as Evan Peters and many, many more. And it tells the true story about a group of 4 teenage bank robbers who managed to steal a valuable piece of art. And it was that true story that is so real and so visceral that will draw you into this movie. And I don't really want to say any more than that because you really have to see this movie to believe it. Like I said, this movie is a true story, and it's actually quite unbelievable that this happened. And even going into this movie, based on what I saw in the trailer, this movie takes a very different direction, a very different tone than what I was expecting for a true story movie like this. Again, the trailer paints this movie a little bit differently than it is, but it's a definitely good misconception, because this film has a very real, very grounded take on this extremely real story, and it was very intriguing on that regard. Now, like I say, this movie has a true star-studded cast, and I think that all the young actors who take place in this film were brilliant individually. We have Evan Peters pretty much in the lead role. I'm a big fan of Evan Peters, whether you look at him in Quicksilver in the X-Men films or you look at him in American Horror Story. He is a great actor, and he really got to show a different side of him. He really got to show a really dark side, because Evan Peters is normally quite a fun, light actor, but you really got to see him delve deep into a darker side of him for this film, which was really nice and really interesting. Same goes for Barry Keoghan, who you might know from Dunkirk or The Killing of a Sacred Deer. He was fantastic in this film as well. Very well played, and I think he's a great young actor. I don't think he really gets enough credit for what he does, because he's fantastic in this movie, as he is in everything. And the rest of the cast overall, they do a wonderful job and really help make this movie feel more real and more dependable as a true story. What also helps the realness and groundedness of this film is the really intelligent script this movie has. I was so impressed by the dialogue. It sucks you in, and it's so real for how these young men, these young boys would react. And there's a lot of swearing in this movie. There's a lot of moments that will really kind of, maybe take you aback and go, whoa, that's quite a lot of things to say. But again, it really, in my opinion, reinforces what these characters are, because while this film has a lot of swearing and a lot of, really visceral kind of dialogue, it really helps emphasize the fact that these characters, what they really are at their core, is 4 scared boys. And I think that was really well done on the writer's part. I really have to congratulate Bart Layton on that, because it was a really well written and really intelligent script. This film is just very dark and grimy. It's very kind of horrible to look at, and it's really, again, engrossing and getting you into this world by sucking you into this really dark, bleak environment. The colour palette is very washed out, it's very dry, there isn't much in terms of saturation, it's very much a just bland looking movie. But that's not a bad thing. This movie, again, it was aiming for that. It was wanting to get this really dark realism and really wanting to bring you into this really dark and grimy world, and it does that with style. And I think this film looks great in its own way. Like I said, although it's not exactly the most pleasant movie to look at in comparison to something like, let's just say, Blade Runner 2049, which has all these beautiful colours and it's very beautiful and vibrant, this movie is the complete opposite of that, but it just helps, again, suck you into this realism of this film. Now, one thing that completely took me out of surprise of this film was that it's told in a very documentary style way. You get the real actors and you have the real people who actually were a part of this event. So you have the actors who played them, and then you have the real people as well. And they chip in every now and then, kind of saying, what that sort of part of the movie was about, and what they were thinking at that time, and how they were reacting to the other members of the crew at that point. It was very interesting, a very different kind of choice that I wasn't expecting, and it was definitely something that at first took me out, because I just wasn't expecting it at all. I didn't expect to see the real people, but it really it's there just enough that it actually helps emphasize the point, and actually helps emphasize how true and how scary the situation was at times, and that was very well handled. And I think it was actually, something that was a very fine line. They could have had it a bit too much, and it would have come across a bit too much like a documentary and less like a film, but I like the fact that they kept it very cinematic, and these guys would chip in every now and then, and most of the time it would actually emphasize the drama and emphasize the emotional impact, so I have to give all the credit in the world there. And the director of this film, and also the writer of this film, Bart Layton, he is incredible. I'm not going to lie, I've never seen anything this guy's done before, but I was so impressed, and I can't wait to see what he does in the future. Rumour has it he's being in talks to direct Bond 25 after Danny Boyle broke out, so I'm completely down for that. If they want to get Bart Layton to write and direct Bond 25, I'd be so down for that, because after seeing American Animals, I am so willing just to commit to anything this guy does, because like I said, his direction was outstanding, the writing was so intelligent and so real, and I think he really delivered what is, in my opinion, maybe one of the best films of this year so far. overall, I loved American Animals. Like I said, I went into this movie not quite sure what to expect, so I liked the trailer, but I didn't quite know where this movie was going to go. And I would highly recommend, do not research this movie before you go see it. Just go watch it and let the movie explain it to you, because you will be completely bewildered and completely shocked by what happens in this film, as I was. I was very engrossed. Like I said, the movie just feels so real, and these characters are so well realised and so nuanced that it really just helps you believe that these 4 actors were maybe even these real people. And even though you get to see the real people in this movie, it emphasises the drama, it emphasises the emotion, and that is so well handled. Like I said, this is a great film. Maybe one of the best of the year. I think it's a truly outstanding film. Very different, very unique, very fresh. And again, if you're looking for something fresh and something new, American Animals will definitely check that box. So did you guys see American Animals? If you did, make sure you tell me what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let's have a conversation about this movie in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, if you want to see more movie reviews from me, be sure to subscribe. And I hope to see you guys again in my next video.